Okay guys, today we're going to be going over 7-2, solving equations with grouping symbols. This is very similar to what we did the other lesson with 7-1. The only difference is now I have grouping symbols. And remember, grouping symbols are any symbols that group numbers or variables together. And right here, mainly we're talking about parentheses. So they still follow the same rules as the last one. The only difference is here is that we're going to go ahead and break these down before we start solving them. And that's really the only thing we're going to go over today besides the rectangle problems that we'll be going over in a little bit. So first thing we need to do is we need to understand that these are all in parentheses and that the work in the parentheses cannot be done any further because we don't know what the variable is. So the only thing left to do now is to break these numbers and variables out of the parentheses. And if you remember how to do that, all you have to do is use distributive property to break them out. So when you use distributive property, you have to multiply. So 5 times a is 5a. And 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. And that is equal to 3 times a, which is 3a. And then 3 times 1.4, which is positive 4.5. Okay, so now I've kind of broken it down, and as you can see, I have the variables on both sides. I have constants on both sides. It's really back to square one right here because it's really just the same thing we did in 7-1. So like in 7-1, all you have to do is take away the smaller variable, which is 3a as opposed to 5a, so minus 3a. That cancels out. 5a minus 3a is 2a minus 20 equals 4.5, which I'm left with on this side. All I really have to do now is get rid of this 20, negative 20, because it's bothering a from being by itself. So plus 20, and I will get 2a equals 24.5. And what I really like about this is that it's really clear. The variables on one side, the constants are on the other, and that's why I moved the 20. So this one's pretty easy. As you can see, I still want to get a by itself, but I can't separate it from the 2 unless I divide by 2. That'll give me just an a. I'm going to do my work over here. And then 2 goes into 24. We can actually divide for that. 24.5. Bring up the decimal. It's once, twice, and that's going to have a 5 at the end. So our answer is going to be 12.25. So as you can see, it's not that difficult. The only thing that's really different from this than the last one is that we're breaking these out of the parentheses. Other than that, it's the same thing. Okay, we're going to go ahead and work on a problem from our homework. This is problem 17, straight out of your homework that you have tonight. As you can see, the width is down here represented by a W. The length is 3W minus 18. And the perimeter, it says it is 244 yards. So from this information, we're going to go ahead and write an equation. Now, the important thing to remember here is that in this shape, the perimeter has 2 widths and 2 lengths. So essentially, we want to go ahead and start off by writing the length, which is 3W minus 18. We're going to put that in parentheses because we're going to represent that there's 2 of them, because there's the one on the right and the one on the left. And we're going to go ahead and add the width, which there is also 2 widths, and the width is just W, which is, you can see down here. That is going to equal 244 yards. Okay, now we can begin to solve this problem. Since these are in parentheses, we have to use distributive property to break them out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. 2 times 3W is going to be 6W. And 2 times negative 18 is going to be negative 36. We're going to bring down the plus sign. And, of course, 2 is going to break out W. So 2 times W is 2W. And that, of course, equals 244 yards, which I'm just going to write 244 right there. Okay, so now my equations got a lot simpler. The one thing that I do like about doing it this way is that as you can see, we have two variables on the same side of the equal sign. Usually they're on different sides, but now they're on the same side. When they're on the same side and they're the same variable, you can add them together. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do if they're both positive, and they both are. So I got positive 6w and positive 2w. I'm going to go ahead and add them together right now just to simplify this. This negative 36 is still going to be here, and it's still going to equal 244. Okay, from here I'm going to go ahead and add 36 because I want to get the constants, or the numbers without variables, on the other end of the variable. So I'm going to add 36 to this. I have 8w equals 280. So I have 8w equals 280. I can go ahead and erase this really quick. I'll bring up 8w equals 280. Now this is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. We've been doing this for a long time. All we have to do is get w by itself. Since it's attached, it's 8 times w. We got to use the opposite, which is division. 8 divided by w gives you, or 8 divided by 8w gives you 1w, which is just that. And over here, if you divide these through, let me see, let's go ahead and do that. 280 is in the box, 8's outside. That's 3 times 24. That was pretty easy. So w equals 35. So we figured out what the width is, but that's not really our answer. That's only a part of it. What it's asking for in this problem, and I'll read the directions to you, is it says find the diameter of each rectangle. The perimeter is given. So this is not the diameter, this is just the width. So I can go ahead and put that right there, 35. But I still need to find the length. Now, since I solved for w, I can go ahead and plug w back into the length and solve for that. So I'm actually going to do that right now so I can get the length. The length is 3w, but since I know w is 35, I can just plug in the 35 now, minus 18. So now I'm going to multiply the 3 and the 35. If I multiply those two, I should get 105. 105 minus 18 should give me 87. And that's what my answer is for the length. So I could actually erase this right here and put 87. So the answer is that my width is 35 and my length is 87. And that's pretty much what it's wanting you to do with this one.